morning. Good morning. Come on in. Good morning, guys. Come on in. We are on Facebook and we're on YouTube and we're on Instagram. So you guys come on right in. We're talking about VAWA and divorces today and how that affects your case and when you should file for your VAWA if you've been divorced or you're thinking of getting a divorce, and things like remarrying, how that affects your case. Come on in. Hope y'all had an amazing weekend. These days are just flying by so fast. I don't know. Summer is really going by too bad. When she ignoring your message. Oh, Jaden. Jaden, you know what? Jaden, look. You know, I'm gonna message you. I'm gonna message you. You know, it's been kind of crazy on my end, but you and I will talk. Why don't you hang out here with me then today? Why don't you hang out here with me? Good morning, Facebook. Whoever's on Facebook, YouTube. I know it's kind of new over here. I got my Instagram folks who are regulars. Guys, tag your friends on here so they can join the live. And on Facebook, if anyone's watching on Facebook and YouTube, because today's my first time on YouTube and Facebook, you guys can share the live and also tag your friends to come on in. So I am Kiki Gillman, your fierce and fabulous immigration attorney. I have represented clients for the last 20 years in matters of immigration, family-based immigration, representing victims of domestic violence with VAWA cases, and just really transforming and saving lives, not just changing, really saving. A lot of times when my clients come to me, they are at their end and they're not able to do anything. And so they're relying on me to help them get out of it. So I want to start right now by giving you guys some immigration updates. The National Visa Center are backlogged like, I don't know, thousands of cases. So if you have a case pending, an immigration matter pending at the National Visa Center, expect that it's going to take longer until they are able to be a lot more efficient in processing cases. Things are really, really backlogged. I think the amount is like 400,000 cases. It's ridiculous. Basically, they thought that they could move things quicker, but they're not really making any progress. So that's number one. Number two, TPS for Cameroon. If you know anyone who's from Cameroon, you're from Cameroon, your boo's from Cameroon, your base from Cameroon, your neighbor is from Cameroon, and they have been here, I think the date is April 17th. I don't have it right in front of me. But basically, if they enter the U.S. before April 17th, or is it April 14th, they are able to petition for TPS, temporary protected status, based on what's happening in Cameroon right now. Frankly, it should have been a long time ago because what's happening has been happening for a long time. But as you guys know, immigrants that look like us tend to have a little bit more of a difficult time getting benefits to go through. But anyway, we're happy that they have it right now. And so take advantage of it. Also, if you are in Uvalde, Texas, where the very, very gruesome shooting happened at the elementary school, and you witnessed it or you're part of that community, they're allowing family members to come to the United States for the funeral and things like that through humanitarian parole. So even though I'm not in Texas, I do represent clients in Texas, but I'm just saying this just in case you're on here, you're watching, you know someone who's out there. They are giving advanced parole, humanitarian parole to family members who may be wanting to come in to be part of, funerals and family members and things like that. So those are the three highlights for today. So today, you guys, I want to dive into VAWA and divorce. And there are a lot of different parts that come into play when it comes to VAWA and divorce. One, can you file VAWA if you are not divorced? Can you file VAWA after you've divorced? And once you're divorced, can you remarry? So let's talk first about VAWA and if you can file VAWA when you're still married. The answer is yes. You do not have to be separated from your spouse. You do not have to be divorced to file VAWA. I have had clients who have remained married because, life is, people have different reasons why they cannot divorce. Religious, community, cultural, they have children, the abusive spouse is the breadwinner. A lot of things, right? They're actually scared, because you do know that for a victim of domestic violence, the most dangerous time is when they leave, right? That's when it's the most dangerous. That's why a lot of times victims of domestic violence just stay, because they're scared to leave and possibly lose their lives. Facebook, if y'all are coming in, tell me where you're coming in from. I'm over here on Instagram with my regulars until I get used to y'all. But hi, Facebook. Hi, YouTube. We're talking about violent divorce. So you don't have to remain married. So you can remain married and not divorced. However, if you happen to want to get a divorce, absolutely go right ahead and do get a divorce. All right. Hi, everyone. You guys, don't mind me running my mouth. So I'm trying to like navigate YouTube, Facebook. It's a lot. So I see all y'all. Good morning. Good morning, my Instagram faithful followers who get on here and listen to me talk all morning long. I appreciate you guys. Good morning. I see everyone. Good morning. Come on in and tell me what your area, your zip code is. Not your zip code, your area code. I'm 612. So if you guys are somewhere else, let me know where you're at. If you get a divorce, you can still petition for VAWA. The only thing to watch out for is you want to make sure you file within 2 years of your divorce. So if you get married, if you're divorced and you are 2 years and 3 months out, you're done. You can't petition for VAWA. And so make sure as you're seeking attorneys who are assisting you, they're advising you properly, because I've had clients come to me and say, oh, my attorney told me because I was divorced, I couldn't file, and they were fresh out of a divorce. And by the time they come to me, it's been 3 years. I'm like, no, we can't do anything, at least not through VAWA. Maybe let's see if you qualify for a T visa, right? After you are divorced and we are doing your application, if you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube and Facebook, please share this live with all your friends. Just share the live, just share it, disperse it, so they know and they can come on in and hear, just get some immigration information. If you are divorced, please do not go remarrying, okay? You can be on Tinder, you can be swiping left, swiping right, whatever, tickling here, tickling there, that's all good. Do not remarry. If you remarry while your application is pending, it will be completely invalidated. Okay? Don't let your new spouse pressure you into getting married. First of all, you've already, you just came out of an abusive relationship. You're probably a little bit more vulnerable, more than likely. And so rushing into a new marriage, I don't think that would be the best move, but certainly I can't tell you what to do. Not only can I not tell you what to do, it'll invalidate your application, period. Okay, so you want to wait till your VAWA application is approved or there's a decision on it, then you can move forward. You don't necessarily have to wait till your I-485 is approved, just the I-360. Okay, guys, throw your questions in the comment box. Ask me anything. I'm here to answer your questions. We're also live on Facebook and YouTube. We don't have a lot of activity on there yet because, we're new on that platform, but that's okay. They'll find out. They'll hear about us. So, and let's remember what the benefits of VAWA are. You could have entered the country without inspection, meaning you literally crossed the border. In the more recent, I would say 5 to 10 years, we've been having incidents of West Africans and people from other countries flying into our bordering countries like Mexico and crossing over. So there are a lot of potential clients that I talk to, and they're Sierra Leoneans, Nigerians, Liberians, from Ghana, they're from Guinea, and I'm like, how did you get here? And they're like, I crossed over through Mexico. So you can petition for VAWA if you enter without inspection. You can petition for VAWA without a sponsor. You do not need a sponsor because the public charge does not apply because it's a humanitarian benefit. You get a work permit while you're waiting. There's so many other things where if you need a waiver, you don't need a qualifying family member because you become that person, either you or your child. So if you had an issue of misrepresentation where maybe you said something at your consular interview before you came to the U.S. through your B1, B2, or your F1, you are able to file something called a 601 waiver, and you don't need to have a U.S. citizen parent or U.S. citizen spouse. You can you are the person. You are the, you can just get the waiver on your own without a qualifying relative. All right. So, okay, let me get some shout outs. All right. Erica 8768, good morning. Ice African, good morning. Even Saki, what's up? Lucky 2, good morning. Oman Philip, Ayobami 201. Philip writes gadget _ auto. Miss K, Andy Baby, I see you. Still Nessa, Mr. Afam, good morning, good morning. Ajoke Wobolo, hey. Ann Quinny, The Dream 433, Arthur Lena, good morning. Abim, hey girl. Maria Elena 1992, UWAS, Sambatesi. Y'all be trying with these names. I think they're so creative though. Jari, good morning. Phillips writes, okay, you just joined. L Alvarez 7695, good morning. Thanks for tapping in. What's up, Jaden? Long Beach Oyster Fest, that sounds good. Wands Uche Pat, good morning. Lakeisha Trey. All right, y'all. Good morning, good morning. So guys, tag your friends, ask your questions. Immigration is really, really complicated, and it can be extremely daunting to try navigating what your situation is, how you get through it, what options are available for you. And the most important thing is making sure that you're able to take advantage of opportunities that you possibly could have before time runs out. Because when it comes to immigration, everything is like time, right? Everything is time. And if you're not able to meet that time frame from what you qualify for, then you've lost that opportunity. So make sure you're getting the right information from the right people who are knowledgeable and know what the hell they're talking about, because we have a lot of folks out here who don't know what they're talking about. Okay. All right. So one who is currently out of status when married to a U.S. citizen fly to another state within the U.S. So here's my disclaimer when it comes to flying. Do you have an application pending? Typically, if you have an application pending, flying should not be a problem. Make sure your driver's license is valid. Whatever form of ID you have is valid. Now, I will tell you this. During the previous administration, there are instances where people who were here, maybe they were out of status and had an application pending, or maybe not, but had like a valid passport, valid driver's license. They walk up to the desk, the airline agent to check in. Next thing you know, airline agent is calling CBP because they're like flipping through their passport, and it's like, I'm flying to DC from Ohio. Why is CBP here? Why are y'all doing all this? So generally, you should be fine, but just know that there are some people that you may encounter who tend to do a little bit more than they really need to be doing. So just be careful. Just be careful. That's what I have to tell you. I've never had a client have a problem traveling while they're out of status, but I got to give you that disclaimer. I would feel a little bit more comfortable if you had an application pending. So you're married to a U.S. citizen. Have you filed your green card? Has she petitioned for you? And if not, consult with an attorney and have them take a look at your case. All right, let's see if we have any questions on Facebook. I don't see anything. Comments, let's see here. Oh, okay. Nothing there. No application pending yet. And you're married to a U.S. citizen, I would strongly recommend at least a consultation with an attorney. I don't know why you haven't filed yet. Certainly, I understand that there could be other factors that's preventing you from filing, but do it as soon as you possibly can. As soon as you possibly can. Hi, EBMEJ. Good morning. Good morning. If you have an interview coming up, and it's your VAWA interview, the officer is not allowed to what we call re-adjudicate the VAWA, meaning they're not allowed to go through and try to like re-ask questions about your marriage, your abuse, what you've suffered, because that decision was made already at the Vermont Service Center, right? All they need to be focused on is your I-485 petition in front of them. So looking through, making sure you don't have any issues with your criminal background, that checks off, and no other issues of inadmissibility. Now, they will ask you questions about previous applications and how you enter the United States and your interview at your home, in your home country, at consular processing, to try to get you on with misrepresentation, right? But as it applies to the actual VAWA petition, a lot of people don't know this. Don't let them bag you into trying to re-decide. That's not their job. Their job is to really just check your eligibility for a green card. Your underlying petition has been approved. Also, do know that if you're in an interview for a marriage green card, they will, if you've ever filed a petition with a previous person, they will ask you about that previous application. So let me talk about this because a lot of people don't know this. Say you filed a previous application through a spouse, and USCIS determined that that marriage was kind of funny, you know, they weren't sure if it was legit. Maybe you didn't have an attorney. Maybe the evidence was kind of all over the place. Maybe they just kind of denied it. It's not really giving you something called a 204C finding, meaning, you know, concluding that it was fraud, but basically saying that things don't look good, and you just left it alone. Then you meet someone else and you all are just like perfect match, all's good. You got kids, you got 3 kids, you got 5 kids. Your marriage is like perfect, maybe more perfect than the other. Not to say the other one was bad, but maybe this is more perfect. USCIS, with your new perfect marriage and your new green card application, can go all the way back and look at that first marriage and say, you know what? This was fishy and this was fraudulent. So guess what? Because that first one was fraudulent, we don't give a good goddamn what's going on in this one right now. We are able to deny your new application. So I say that to say, as you are entering these marriages, as you are filing these petitions, make sure you have solid representation, because the damage that can happen will literally follow you through. It'll follow you through all your applications. And also, please remember the day you got married. I mean, come on. You got to know when you got married. You have to. I don't care if you and your spouse got divorced. I don't care if you hate him. You have to remember the day you got married. Those are kind of things that USCIS looks at, and they start to kind of question, like, wait a minute, how do you not remember the day you got married? Because they're thinking at that time, the intent was to have a life together, right? So that date has to be etched in your memory, right? Not just to, you know, get a marriage certificate and file a marriage green card. It has to be etched in your memory if at the time the intent when you started your life together was to have a life for a long time. You may hate him now, and that's fine, but you know. Good morning, guys. Tag your friends, ask your questions in the box. I'll be coming live on here and on Facebook and on YouTube daily. I think I'm going to have a little bit of a break towards the end of this week, but I'll be back next week. I'll try to see if I can come live while I'm out, but be sure to, if you're too shy to ask your questions in here, and I get it because immigration matters are really complex and, you know, it's very personal, it's very private, just send me a DM and I'll be happy to answer that for you. You guys are really shy on here today. No one's asking any questions. I know y'all got questions. I know you do. You know, I get a lot of consultations where the person either has a chance to either appeal or to file a brand new application. There are certain cases where you don't have that opportunity, particularly if the benefit is no longer available. For example, Liberian green card, right? The Liberian green card ended December 20th of 2021. So if someone got a not so good decision, their only chance is to appeal or to, if they need a waiver, do a waiver. However, if your green card was denied based on like marriage, or maybe your application wasn't submitted properly, or maybe you didn't submit a request for evidence, or they sent you a notice of intent to deny, you didn't respond. Sometimes instead of trying to fight, it's better to just start all over, right? Start all over, clean, with an attorney who knows what they're doing. put the application together properly, because a lot of times it's not that you don't really qualify. A lot of times it's that you didn't present your evidence in a manner that was logical, in a manner that made sense, in a manner that didn't annoy the officer, right? I mean, these are humans. Like, I'm sorry, but, you know, a lot of times people who are not attorneys who try to do this on their own, not to say that people haven't filed applications on their own, they have. But sometimes they receive applications that are so sloppy, that are so messy, not signed properly, wrong fees, wrong applications, missing information, not enough evidence, wrong evidence, a disaster. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to put this aside because this is messy. I'm not dealing with this right now. And when they eventually get to it, it's like, okay, no. You know, this, we don't have this, we don't have, they're annoyed. Right? They're going to focus on the applications that are put together well, that are easy for them to follow, because it makes their job easier. Good morning, Geraldine, 81-176. Good morning. So sometimes it just requires starting over fresh and clean. Okay, we got a question. What can someone do if you're not able to get your husband's birth certificate before marriage becomes so messy? Okay, his birth certificate, because you maybe qualify. So I'm just going to assume that you're asking because maybe you qualify for a VAWA. If you're looking to petition for a VAWA and you don't have your husband's birth certificate, there are a lot of other things that we can do. If he was born in the United States, we can look to see if there's any voter registration. We can do an affidavit for you to talk about how you know your husband's a U.S. citizen, vital records in whatever state he's in, whatever city. We should be able to pull up some information. I've even done, this is how creative I've gotten. I have a client right now. Her husband was not born here, but he naturalized. And we had nothing. This was a VAWA case. We had absolutely nothing. What I did was I submitted a copy of his I submitted a copy of his license plate, submitted a copy of his pay stubs, which only had the last four of his social. I think we had an address. And then we had a solid declaration from my client talking about how she knows that he was a U.S. citizen. And we submitted to USCIS, and we got a prima facie, and it checked off that, you know, proof of spouse's citizenship. So there are things that we can do that, and basically ask USCIS to go ahead and do their own research based on the information that we have. So that shouldn't be a burden for you. All right. So YouTube and Facebook, they're really quiet. I guess it's going to take them a while to get warmed up, but everyone on here on Instagram, good morning. So let's talk about, you know, when you don't have enough evidence for your VAWA case. That's actually, a lot of people think that you have to have so much evidence. And the truth is, when it comes to VAWA, the most important thing is your credibility. Do they believe you? Does the Vermont Service Center believe your story? Okay. If they believe your story, then the standard is they have to consider any credible evidence. The key word there is credible. And you can submit as little as your declaration. Your declaration, that's your story. Your declaration is where you pour out and you tell the Vermont Service Center and Immigration, this is what I've gone through. This is my trauma. This is my pain. This is my hurt. This is what this person did to me. This is how they made me feel. And this is why I am in need of protection, because my human rights have been violated and I'm here without protection. On your watch, U.S. government, this is your citizen, your green card holder, and this is how they treated me. We are in a relationship, a marriage, and I need help. What we do at our office is we sit down with our clients and thoroughly put together your declaration, because as the attorney, I know what they're looking for. I know there are elements to the VAWA statute, right? And we have to meet every element. The most crucial pieces that I see when denials come, not ours, because, you know, we don't really get those around here, you know. But when people come to me because their cases have been denied, because they either file on their own or some other attorney, the two main parts are not proving the abuse and not showing that the marriage was bona fide, not showing that the marriage was real. So I'm going to talk about those a little bit and then I'm going to hop off. Proving the abuse, you have to talk about what happened, right? So you have to start with how you met your spouse, how the relationship started, how things started falling apart, how the treatment towards you made you feel, and where you are today, like how damaged you are. That's your declaration. Your declaration has to be detailed. You know, I was sitting in the living room, I was watching television, she walked in, it was a Saturday at 7 p.m., and she started screaming at me, and she threw her shoe and her purse at me. It hit me on the right side of my face, and knocked me out for, 5 minutes. Or she threw the purse, and I dodged, and it hit the glass, and it shattered. I was in shock. And I said to her, XYZ. That's how we write declarations. It has to be vivid. You're trying to paint a picture so the officer reading this can actually see as they're reading. That's what makes a VAWA application a winner. You have to be detailed. Because the more detailed you are, the more believable you are. But if you're just like, no, and sometimes she doesn't like me, and sometimes she's mad at me, and she doesn't come home early, just super general. Anyone can write that. We need detail. Because your declaration alone, that can be your evidence, just your declaration. Because the standard is any credible evidence. Okay? Because in that declaration, you can talk about how you know that you're a U.S. citizen. You can talk about the lack of, because a lot of times we get there are denials that we see from other attorneys where they say you haven't shown that your marriage is bona fide, we don't have joint assets, we don't have a joint bank account, where are your credit cards, where are the transactions in your bank account that shows that you went out to dinner, you bought furniture. It's like, no, I'm not on the bank account because they didn't put me on the bank account. That was part of the abuse. No, we didn't go out to dinner. We didn't have any money, number one. Number two, hell, he was going out to dinner with his side chick. That's why I'm not on there. We didn't go to dinner. He was cheating on me or she was cheating on me. So what do you mean, there's no transactions of going out on a date? Furniture. No, we didn't buy furniture at IKEA. We went to a yard sale. These are things that USCIS, they don't think about because they're so used to everything being perfect. Like, oh yeah, they bought furniture at Ashley Furniture and, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, everyone has a different story. People are different. Different phases in their lives. They couldn't afford to buy, hi Emeka, they couldn't afford to buy furniture at IKEA or Ashley Furniture or whatever, Haverty. They went to a yard sale and they paid cash. That's what they did. Doesn't mean their marriage is not real. No, they didn't have a joint lease because they were living with an aunt or an uncle or a cousin. So you just have to, you have to paint your story for USCIS and make them believe it. It's your story. All right, guys, I have a lot of meetings today, so I'm going to hop off. Thank you guys so much for tapping in. If you guys have any questions, send it to my DM, and I'll try to answer those, and I'll be on here again tomorrow. Make sure you tag your friends and let them know that Green Cards and Jollof, that's the name of my show. Green Cards and Jollof. I know everybody on here loves Jollof, and if you've never had Jollof, are you even living? Okay, I have an immigration question. Okay, Emeka, what's your question? I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to hop off because I have a busy day ahead of me. Oh, hey, girl, you are so loyal. Thank you, girl. Thank you. You are so loyal. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Emeka. One of these days we have to talk about who has the best jollof. Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm ready for that conversation because it's always a bit hot and heavy. All right, guys. Emeka, send me a DM. You said you have an immigration question. Send me a DM. I have to get off now. And I'll be happy to either give you a quick answer or we can certainly schedule a consultation. All right? All right, guys. Have a lovely rest of your week. Bye.